Married at First Sight UK, Episode 19. First of all, not sure what happened to yesterday's episode of Married at First Sight UK. There seemed to have been a glitch on E4, as we all probably saw. They repeated the episode from the day before, and then they took it off air and replaced it with an old episode of First Dates. Yep, not sure what happened there. But at the same time, it's given me time to catch up. So in this episode, we see three of the couples all separating, going their separate ways, having a couple of days alone before their big vow renewals. We have one out of each of the couples staying within the apartment. In this case, we have Dan staying in the apartment while Matt goes home to Leeds. We also have Frankie staying within the apartment while Marilise goes home. And also we have Amy within the apartment while Josh goes home to London. With Matt and Dan's situation, we did see them speaking with their parents about the upcoming renewals and their trepidation, all the little questions they had in regards to whether to say yes or no. I will, however, mention when Matt was getting advice from his mum, I'm not too sure she helped. I think she's thinking too much about herself. Her son is nearly 40 years old. When are you going to snap those strings, break those ties and let him go on his merry way? When is it going to happen? I know he's your baby, but he's nearly 40. Come on. Stop letting it be about you. Stop it. Moving on to the day of the wedding. You can see that both Matt and Dan have been thinking very hard about this. Is this make or break time? When Matt arrived at their location for the vow renewals, both men looked very smart in their suits. I did particularly like Matt's attire. Very, very put together. Very smart. Both men complimented each other and were very happy to see each other. Then we saw Matt start to recite his vows. In short, he did mention about the distance between them and the amount of debates they've been having about where they will locate to and whether it would work, and for him having to uproot and leave everything that he knows behind. But as he looks into Dan's eyes, he sees love. And as far as he's concerned, he'll do anything for love. So this to him was an easy decision. So he said yes. I wasn't surprised by his answer. That's exactly what I expected. Moving on to Dan's vows. In short, he turned around and said he didn't come into this process looking for friendship, and that he has a big decision to make, and that it has to be the right one. He carried on by saying that he knows Matt's willing to move to Northern Ireland, but will he have regrets moving away from his family and friends? And if Dan was to move to Leeds, will he resent Matt? Yep, that was exactly what he said. He then goes on to say, I know we want a family, but I worry that our timeframes are growing further and further apart. Yes, that's what he said. He then goes on to say that he questions Matt's decision in regards to agreeing with everything that Dan says, and whether he has grasped the reality of life outside of this experiment. Lastly, he questions, do I need to be cruel to be kind? The truth of the matter is, those were his last words. The truth of the matter is, I'm in love with you. Yes, that's exactly what he said. I'm in love with you, Matt. He did, however, continue to talk some more. But one line that I do remember him saying was, a place doesn't define a home. It's the person you share it with. Yep, that line got me. So we know how that ended. They both said yes, and hopefully they'll go off into the sunset and live happily ever after. But I still question the length of time. Moving on to Frankie and Marilise. Frankie is woken up this morning feeling a little lonely. Waking up this morning, as he said, without Maz in the bed, it just didn't feel right. Yeah. He does have a heart, as he says. He said, I've made so many big decisions in my life. I'm worried that she thinks that I won't do as I say I would do. As in leave my life behind in Dubai to come and live back in England. That's his worry. When it came to Marilise, we saw her having a conversation with her sister and a friend about making a decision. Her friend's opinion of Frankie, she found him very nice, very attentive. The sister's question was, what is she going to do? I was actually quite surprised by her answer. She turned around and said, if I was single, I would love to move to Dubai. Oh, that one surprised me. That was a surprise. But in answer to the question, because she can't move, she's got kids, her main worry is if things don't work out with Frankie, that she doesn't get the blame for him moving his whole life here. Yeah, that's what she said. Fast forward to the day of the VOW renewals. Here we go again. So everybody's nervous. Marilise is nervous. Frankie is nervous. But now it's decision day. Will it be yes or no? I will say they both look very smart. Frankie knows how to dress for occasions. He really does. I will give him that. And I do like Marilise's dress. When these two locked eyes at their location, you could see the twinkle in their eyes. Yes, I saw that. I saw it. And then Mr. Frankie complimented Marilise, saying that she looks very beautiful. Yes, that is a good start. Frankie was the first to recite his renewals. His was very much like a poem. Yes, it was. Everything rhymed. I'm actually going to recite a couple of lines of this poem. He said, to start a new life is such a large feat. I'm going to make this happen because you make me complete. That is so cute. That is cute. And another part was, these principles will never ever cease. And finally, I also want to say, I love you, Marilise. Oh, that is so cute. He should be a poet. No, he should be a poet. Let's hope he means what he says. When it came to Marilise's turn, she touched on their struggles and whether they were right for each other. But she then said that she does want him to be part of her world. Yes, she did. Oh dear. Oh, so them two got there in the end. Okie doke. Okie doke. So that was sealed with a kiss, as you can see. But I still question how long it's going to last. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. When Frankie was talking to the camera afterwards, he did question the word soulmate. He never knew what it meant, but he does now. Through meeting Marilise, he says, she's my soulmate. Yes, that's what he said. Moving on to Amy and Josh, you can see that these two are really thinking very hard about their next move. Amy's back at the apartment. Didn't see her speak to anybody, to be honest. Confer with any of her friends. But in regards to Josh, back in London, he had one of his friends come round that he could discuss his anxieties with. Again, when talking to his friend, he was saying in regards to the relationship, again about her mood swings and whether he could deal with those. Also, he finds that she can be a little selfish at times. And then he also said the age gap thing does play a big part, because if she had the choice to find someone tomorrow, fast track everything, husband, kids, 2.5 children, house in the country, white picket fence, she would. That's me exaggerating, but that's what he meant. Though he did say he's on the same page, but I've got plenty of time on my side. That's the way he said it. I still question you. I really do. You're not ready for it. Not right now. No. His friend's answer to that, to put it bluntly, was, if there's no compromise, what are you doing? That's really what he was saying to him. He said, don't do it if that's where you're at. That's what he said. And also, why put yourself through all the heartache and stress if that's what you're having to deal with? Yep, straight to the point. Didn't mince his words. And I get it myself. Like I said, Josh isn't ready. Fast forward to the day of the vow renewals. When Josh was walking towards the location of his renewals, he was saying to himself, there's been highs, there's been lows, there's been tears, ups and downs, the whole 9 yards. He then said he's put 100% into this relationship. Please don't make me laugh. Do not make me laugh. This guy. Now this is a time for him to be selfish. That's what he said. Now I need to be selfish. Can I see Amy in my future? That's what he said. Now, when Amy was walking to the location, she too was thinking about all the bad things that have gone wrong and how she felt going through those struggles and whether she can forget about those things. Yeah, that already says a lot already. She hasn't forgotten. It's still an issue. Going forward, it will be an issue. And then she goes on to say, should I go full defense mode? Or should I follow my heart? With those doubts, I suggest you say no. When these two finally met face to face, they looked happy to see each other. But my one qualm already. He didn't even compliment her on how she looked, on her dress. Nothing at all. What have I told you about him? The man, you know what, I've got no words. Not a compliment. All he said, how are you? How you feeling? She said she's feeling nervous. Then she turned around and said to him, have you missed me? You know what? It's always her asking. Always her asking. Oh, this sickens me already. Moving on, it was Amy that first recited her renewals. The gist of the vows, she was talking about how their journey started. Her friends and family told her she had too much high hopes. I think her checklist was too long. That's virtually what they were saying. When she turned up on the wedding day, Mr. Josh didn't even kiss her. And she's the type of person that needs affection. So that was already a question in her head, whether this was the guy for her. She also mentioned about him calling her needy. And she says, I'm not needy. I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need anyone. That's what she said. That's how she said it. Oof. She also mentioned about putting herself out there, being vulnerable within this process, but not getting anything back. And she's thinking, am I being mugged off? Or is this person not into me? That's where she reached her limit and thought, what's the point? Yes, that's what she said. That's where it was left, on a cliffhanger. So we don't know what the answer was behind that. We're going to have to wait and see and tune in for the next episode. So on that note, I'm going to leave it here. If you've liked what you heard, please like, comment and subscribe. Till next time.